Right now, investigators are looking for a woman they say was kidnapped by her ex not far from the Aurora Reservoir. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation says Jessica Mays was last seen around 5:45 yesterday afternoon. They think her ex-boyfriend Lance Foster took her, and they may be driving on I-70, but they don't know which direction. Investigators are looking for a black 2008 Lincoln MKZ, Colorado license plate BTMA 53.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnson has a plan to end homelessness. He says it should be done, in 4 years. 90's reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live this morning. And Courtney, people who live in Denver actually got to talk to the mayor face to face about this new plan.
Yeah, that's right, Jordan. And Mayor Mike Johnson is holding 78 of these town halls regarding the homelessness situation here in Denver. The first one wrapped up last night in 5 points. Now, the city is looking at a range of options for housing for the homeless, which include rentals, hotels, tiny homes, and then commercial buildings as well. They also talked about affordable housing last night, which without it often leads to homelessness. Johnson says the hope is to build or permit 3,000 new permanently affordable units each year, though he mentioned this will take a year or two to actually get started. Residents also brought up concerns like drug use and treatment, safety, as well as helping people earn their GED. By the end of this year, Johnson says they hope to house 1,000 people by finding 20 to 40 locations that can be permitted for tents.
Rather than saying, let's have a 3-month conversation with Curtis Park about one spot for 40 units, and then after that, let's start a 3-month conversation with Central Park about one site there for 40 units. The idea is to have all these conversations now concurrently so that we can, in 3 or 4 months, actually move 1,000 people within 3 or 4 weeks, which has never been done before.
The city will also continue to clear encampments like the previous administration did when they're in the public right-of-way or pose a health risk. Johnston says once it's available, every sweep will also come with an offer of housing. He plans to do these town halls over the next 45 days in 11 districts. Jordan?
All right, Courtney, thank you.
Homelessness isn't just a Denver issue. All of Denver's suburbs saw some kind of increase in their homeless population this year. Take Jefferson County, for example. During this year's annual point-in-time count in January, volunteers counted 854 people living in shelters and on the streets in Jeffco. That's up about 350 people from the year before. The number of people living on the streets in Jeffco increased by 152%. The data will help providers in Jefferson County apply for funding to help more folks out. And one provider says that increase in people without shelter points to another huge need in the county.
Our unsheltered number rose drastically. That also makes a lot of sense here in Jefferson County. We don't have a shelter for people experiencing homelessness in Jefferson County, so there's not a space for folks to go.
Cassie Radcliffe with Family Tree says she's noticing a shift in public perception of homelessness as people on the streets become more visible to folks in the suburbs. She says she's seeing a lot less of that not in my backyard mentality when it comes to providing resources, which could help Jeffco progress towards helping more people.
A controversial petition to lower term limits for Aurora's elected officials and give the mayor more power may be headed for the ballot. The proposal would amend the city charter and give Aurora a strong mayor system like the ones in Denver and Colorado Springs instead of being run by a city manager hired by city council. Some folks in Aurora feel like they were hoodwinked into signing the petition, claiming they were told it was just about term limits. Starting now, registered electors have 20 days to protest the validity of signatures of the petition. 8,000 signatures have already been thrown out by the clerk's office. Questions still remain about who is behind this petition. Aurora City councilors point the finger at Mayor Mike Hoffman. He won't confirm or deny, saying he won't comment until the issue makes the ballot.
They're already celebrating in Paris for the upcoming 2024 Olympics. The City of Light is marking 1 year to the Summer Games with a party in one of the most iconic cities in the world.
Our Olympic reporter Matt Renew is live in Paris this morning. Matt, standing in front of one of the most iconic places in the world, and locations just like that are going to be heavily used in the upcoming games.
You're right, Jordan and Corey. Good morning and bonjour from Paris. This Olympics is going to be extremely different from what people are used to, from the use primarily of existing venues and temporary venues to showcasing iconic landmarks all over Paris. And then there's the opening ceremony that for the first time ever will be taken out of a stadium. It will be free to watch, and they'll have athletes on a flotilla of boats going down the Seine River. It is an ambitious plan that 1 year from today will be put to the test.
Work
working at the Eiffel Tower.
When they come in, we greet them, we give them directions, information.
Frederick Dutria welcomes thousands of people to the biggest attraction in Paris.
We have over 6 million visitors every year.
But in 1 year, something even bigger is coming to town.
We are very excited, obviously, to welcome the Games.
With the 2024 Summer Olympics, when 10,000 athletes compete in 329 events over 19 days.
We have, the most iconic sporting event, the Olympic and the Paralympic Games, the best athletes in one of the most iconic cities in the world.
In a first of its kind Summer Games, most events will be in existing stadiums or temporary venues located all over Paris, using iconic landmarks as backdrops.
We've committed in delivering those games with 95% of existing or temporary venues. And once we talk about temporary venues, we thought, where could we put that in the most iconic way?
The Eiffel Tower will be home to beach volleyball, while cycling races down the Champs-Élysées. And the opening ceremony,
and that's going to be a fantastic experience,
will be free, with 600,000 people expected to line the Seine River to watch athletes float through Paris on tourist riverboats.
We'll have more than 90 boats with the athletes on it, plus all the, the broadcast boat, the security boats, everything. So it's going to be about 160 boats along the river.
And 1 year before that opening ceremony, organizers are practicing with a year-out celebration on the Seine.
The Olympics and Paralympics is a fantastic celebration for whole humanity.
And back at the Eiffel Tower.
And everybody knows the Eiffel Tower.
Where Frederick says in a year, the tower will be busier than ever, with Olympic crowds looking to see the city alight in a whole new light.
We know when we are expecting a lot of people on the Eiffel Tower during the Olympics.
It will be a big Olympics. By the way, 100 years since Paris has hosted a Summer Games, and the only venue that was specifically built and designed for these Olympics is the Aquatic Center right next to the French National Stadium, and part of that process was to try to get kids in the city more interested in swimming. Again, the Olympics are a year out, and after 3 Olympics in a row in Asia, 2 of those during the pandemic with all the restrictions, a lot of people see these games as a chance to celebrate with the world again in one of the most romantic cities on the planet. There's been unprecedented demand. Corey, Jordan, 10 million tickets are for sale for these Olympics, and already we're a year out. 7 million tickets, right around there, have been sold. They need 45,000 volunteers, but 300,000 people signed up. So people are pretty excited for these games.
Yeah, clearly a lot of people want in on the action. Of course, we're talking about the iconic landmarks. You and photojournalist extraordinaire Johnny Kurt, y'all got to see the official Olympic rings, which are also catching a lot of people's attention there in Paris.
We did, Jordan. They're down at the City Hall here in Paris, and they're in a great spot in an open area where people are starting their tours. And so you see a lot of folks lining up to get their pictures already with those Olympic rings. I think in the next year you'll see them start to pop up in a few more places, maybe here at Trocadero by the Eiffel Tower. But that's where they're at right now. And so the momentum is starting here in Paris, where people are getting excited, and those iconic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower are something that you just can't live without.
Going to bring a little bit of Paris back to Colorado with them.
Of course, he has to.
Yeah.
Well, the countdown is on right now, and everyone is so excited. Matt, thank you so much. And today on 9 News Mornings, we want to hear from you. What is your favorite summer Olympic sport? What are you looking forward to watching? So many to choose from. Text us your favorite, 303-871-1491. Here are some of the picks that you've been sharing with us right now. Gymnastics, diving, beach volleyball. It's going to be right there at the Eiffel Tower, as Matt was just saying. Soccer, the closing ceremony. A lot of people love the opening ceremony, swimming, beach volleyball, football.
Yes, or what we call soccer. Swimming, yeah, a lot of good ones right here. Gymnastics is always definitely a popular one for me. Of course, I was a gymnast growing up.
Yeah.
This time, I get to watch swimming with somebody who actually knows the sport well. Usually, I'm just, I have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm watching.
Right. The synchronized diving, too, is also fun. And they have surfing this year.
If you are a diver, I need to know how you do it. Y'all terrify me.
Truly.
I think it's awesome that they can do that stuff,
I
but it
know.
scares me watching. It makes my stomach drop.
It's impressive.
All right, keep sending your answers into us, 303-871-1491. Let's get a check of your forecast now, Ted.
Well, one thing you want to know about today's weather is going to be just a few degrees cooler than yesterday's 98-degree reading. 80s and 90s along the front range, with a chance for late-day showers and storms, as we've seen the past several afternoons. And then tomorrow, maybe a degree or two warmer, back in the 90s, with a chance for an isolated storm.
Ed, thank you so much. We do finally have eyes on that car into a building I've been talking about. This is in Englewood at Dartmouth and South Broadway. So that vehicle there hit the 7-Eleven. There was some damage to the exterior part of the building, and they actually have the entire 7-Eleven roped off at this hour. It looks like you can still get gas, but you're not able to enter the store. So if this is typically where you go in the morning and make a quick stop, you're not going to be able to at this hour. Again, this is in Englewood along South Broadway and Dartmouth.